time when the centre has reversed an order that stopped government officials from associating with the RSS, comes a huge setback for the Yogi Adityanath government in Uttar Pradesh. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. The Supreme Court has halted a contentious order, a directive by the Yogi Adityanath government in Uttar Pradesh that asked food vendors, even small pushcart owners, to display their names all along the route of the Kanwar Yatra. The court said in its observations that this directive could infringe the secular character of the republic. There has been a huge uproar ever since Yogi Adityanath directed that this order be applied across Uttar Pradesh. Mahua Moitra, Trinamool Congress MP, who scored a big win in the court today, was among the petitioners who challenged Yogi Adityanath. The UP government, along with Uttarakhand and Madhya Pradesh, have till Friday to respond. But Mahua Moitra has told Mojo's story that if the directive had gone through, there would have been a parallel with what used to happen in quote-unquote Nazi Germany. She says that the order was all about a de facto economic boycott of Muslims. The Yogi Adityanath government has denied this, but interestingly, there was no representation from the centre today in the Supreme Court. We'll see what happens as the week goes along. Like I said, all of these developments come at a time when the opposition is targeting the government for changing an order that will now allow government officials to be associated with the RSS. So there's a lot to unpack on this day when there's been a supreme setback for the Yogi Adityanath government, also at a time when there are many questions being asked about differences between the central command of the BJP and the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. Let's introduce our panel. On the program today, joining us is Sanjay Ghosh, senior advocate. Welcome, Sanjay. Zafar Sareshwala, businessman and educationist, is with us. Welcome, Zafar Bhai. Ujjwal Deepak, senior leader of the BJP, is with us. Namaskar and welcome, Ujjwal ji. Rahul Easwar, a supporter of the Prime Minister, but not everything the BJP does. Where does he weigh in on these two decisions that we now have? We'll find out. And Sanjay Jha, never say die supporter of the Congress party, is with us as well. Welcome, all of you. Let me get quick reactions. I do have a Mahua Moitra clip to play out. She was a petitioner in the case challenging the directive by Yogi Adityanath. I'll start with you, Sanjay, because while we do not have a final judgment from the Supreme Court, we certainly have a halt. And the judges have observed, not concluded, but observed in open court that the directive could potentially infringe the secular character of the Republic of India. They have given a few days to these three states that have sought to implement this to respond. Interestingly, there was nobody really defending the directive today in court. Isn't that quite unusual?
Well, normally in these matters, you're absolutely right, Barkha. There is, even small matters like bails of politicians, what meal should be given to the Chief Minister of Delhi. You have the Additional Solicitor General landing up at Rouse Avenue and defending tooth and nail. So, being the veteran political journalist that you are, you can, of course, read between the lines as to what is the conspiracy theories going round, whether...
I mean, what I'm reading is that Yogi Adityanath is left out to dry.
Left high and dry by Amit Shah. And so basically it's a battle between...
Seems that way. Seems that way. I don't know.
It seems like it. But yes, everyone, I wasn't there, but a lot of my lawyer friends told me that they were shocked at the absolute non-representation of the respondents. In fact, the court at one stage said, where's the other side? What do you have to say? And I'm told that there was none to say anything.
Yes. And Ujjwal, let me bring you in. I mean, Sanjay, there are other points of law to discuss about this directive, but the politics of it are also fascinating. Ujjwal ji, there was no representation from the centre. The state will now have to respond on Friday. That's what the court has asked for. Do you believe that Yogi Adityanath made a mistake? Because, when the Muzaffarnagar police first announced this, when the uproar followed, they clarified that it's voluntary. Yogi ji could have just left it at that, ki bhai voluntary hai. Instead, he converted what the police called a voluntary policy into a diktat and he applied it across UP. And now he's been embarrassed by the Supreme Court. And there's no Solicitor General, no Tushar Mehta ji, nobody is defending the other side. Even aap shayad aaj karenge, lekin court mein koi nahi kar raha tha.
Barkha, hi. First of all, let's go to the reason. Okay. Even for newspaper publications, every day when I read the Times of India, in the bottom line of either the last page or the third page, the name of who publishes this newspaper, right? Who owns this publication? Who is the editor, right? Now, what is the newspaper's petition in the Supreme Court that we don't want to write this? Please, I want an answer. So why this hypocrisy? Why this hue and cry? For naming of shop. This was for everybody, right? This order, this rule, this regulation. And I must say that Supreme Court definitely has got a lot of time. I mean, these issues are municipal level issues. The municipal organization, the mayor decides the name of the roads, the name of the shops. So, and you will see a lot of incidents like this. In Maharashtra, it's mandatory to write every shop's name in Marathi. Nobody objected to that. But whenever there's a decision by a BJP-led government, it comes to communal politics. Why? Jatigat Janganna secular hai. Naming of shops by everybody. It is not pertinent to one particular community or religion. It is for everybody, right?
Okay. Okay. So you're saying the court was biased against the BJP today?
I wouldn't comment on court's decision, but yes, I really think they've got a lot of time because lots of important hearings are waiting. But when an opposition MP, people like Mahua Moitra, what happens to that case in which she's involved by Hiranandani's? She got scot-free, right?
I don't know. The CBI inquiry has not concluded yet, as far as I know.
Yes.
The ED inquiry has not concluded.
Then the courts are biased, right? According to them.
You see, courts have become like media. If we confirm your bias, we are very good. If we don't confirm your bias, we are very bad. We have, courts and media are in that position. But hang on, you have raised a point कि भाई क्या गलत है नाम दिखाने में, right? Now, Mahua Moitra is the एक मिनट I want to play. ये fraud बंद होना चाहिए. So we'll take this to the panel, but let's just first play out for you. Mahua Moitra was a petitioner in the case. We have a longish interview coming up with her a little later, but we'll show you a little excerpt of it. Let's take a look.
Mahua Moitra, you went to the Supreme Court along with a couple of other petitioners to fight against Yogi Adityanath's contentious order on the Kanwar Yatra, which asked that nameplates of shop vendors, even pushcart vendors, be displayed. You've had a big win in the Supreme Court today. The Supreme Court has, at least for the moment, halted this order and has observed that it is an infringement, potentially, of India's secular character. Your first thoughts?
No, I'm very happy about this, Barkha, because when I decided to file this on Friday, and this had been building up, as you know, when the first order came out. When I saw it on Twitter, I think it was Mohammed Zubair, who had tweeted it, and I thought it was a joke. And then I saw the video of, I think it was the SP of Zafar saying that, and he was trying to couch it and say that they're trying to do it as though to save people and to make sure that everybody's okay, and this is a law and order issue. And I said, this can't be happening, because it just brought back these horrific memories of, not memories, I mean, horrific, of World War II, of Nazi Germany, of exactly, you're boycotting the Jews. It brought back images of people being forced to wear the cross on the Star of David on their shoulders. And so this can't be India. What is happening? And then you saw over the next 2 days that the tempo just kept building, and they extended it to all of the state of UP. You then had Uttarakhand doing it. You had bits of MP doing it. And the funny thing was that, yes, there are people who are vegetarians in this country. There are people who are vegetarian and strict vegetarians, where they don't touch certain things for certain months of the year. And that's all part of the secular character of India. And my own grandmother, after my grandfather died, for example, doesn't eat meat or fish. She doesn't even eat dal. And that's part of it. That's okay. When I do puja, I'm not mixing utensils. That's okay. But the issue is that this was that you are asking the eateries, and these are small dhaba owners, little tea shops, to display the name of the owner and the name of the employees. And what really struck me was there was a photograph of a man selling mangoes. It's a fruit, and it says Arif Phal.
I saw that.
Mango seller who has to say Arif Phalwala. I want to open this up now. Two differing perspectives have come from Ujjwal and from Sanjay, and of course, Mahua as the petitioner. Zafar, Sareshwala, is this a de facto economic boycott of Muslims if this goes through? We don't know if it will go through. For the moment, रुकावट पे है, रोका गया है.
See, Barkha, whatever the reason would be, but I know the country. I've traveled across the country, and even the covers also, the people who walk in that procession. The secular character is inbuilt. I mean, this kind of thing which came up, it is to engineer hit. It is to engineer, but something which is not there, you cannot manufacture. And Supreme Court has very rightly pointed out, as per Article 19 of our Constitution, that every person in the country, irrespective of his religion, caste, creed, can do business. And Supreme Court has given one line. This order of the UP government is against the secular character of the country. And I'll tell you, Barkha, in Gujarat, if you have traveled from Palanpur, the northern tip of Gujarat to Bombay, either on the roadside, you will have restaurants run by a particular Muslim community called Chilias, who have restaurants in Mumbai and across the country. They have a very typical way. They have beards, they wear caps, and they wear kurta and pajama. They run 100% Sattvic restaurants. In their restaurants, meat is never found. They don't have meat, and in some restaurants, they don't even have onion and garlic. And Hindus, without even asking, they go to their restaurant, they know that these people serve 100% vegetarian. Now the other way around. If you want to get into the name of the manufacturer, the name of the restaurant, then I'll tell you one more thing. I have this question. The 10 topmost producers of beef in the country, the name of their businesses is not even Muslim. It is Islamic. Al-Kabir, Al-Rahman, Al-Saud, and it is owned by Sabarwal, it is owned by Gupta, it is owned by Agarwal. So where we are going to get into it? If tomorrow you want that the mango seller should say that who's the seller, his name, then we should even go that who had planted the seed, who had irrigated that, who took that mango from the market to that. I mean, where are we going to
So
go?
Zafar bhai, let me ask you this. You were a critic of the Prime Minister. You then became a vocal fan. You have praised Yogi Adityanath in the past for his management of law and order in Uttar Pradesh. Do you think Yogi Adityanath's government has made a big mistake with this directive as a qualified supporter of both the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister?
Yes, I would certainly say that the UP government made a big mistake, and as the honorable lawyer said, that no government of India or a Solicitor General or anybody was representing. And I know Mr. Modi. See, I have seen Mr. Modi for 20 years. He would not get into this kind of thing ever, because he knows business is business. He exactly knows that business is business, because I've dealt with him.
So you're saying the Gujarati motto ki dhanda dhanda hai would somewhere impact his perspective on these things, and so therefore reading between the lines. Let me bring in Sanjay Jha. Yeah,
Barkha, I'll add one thing. One very prominent chief minister once told me, "Yaar Zafar bhai, paisa lao. Gora, Kala, Black, Arab ka, Ajam ka, America ka, बोले पैसा चाहिए भाई, इन्वेस्टमेंट लेके आओ." ये बीजेपी के बहुत प्रोमिनेंट चीफ मिनिस्टर ने मुझे कहा था. बोले पैसे का कलर नहीं हो.
Reading between the lines, you are also suggesting what Sanjay did, that when a chief minister as high profile as Yogi is left unrepresented in Supreme Court, no central government law officers present, are we to take it that the Modi government is leaving Yogi to defend this himself? Sanjay Jha, what do you say? Because it also coincides and overlaps with another development, which is the government changing the rules on the RSS and government officials' affiliation and association with them. Go ahead, Sanjay.
Barkha, I think what happens between Mr. Adityanath and Mr. Amit Shah is their own internal problem. and all political parties have them. I don't want to comment on it. No Schadenfreude from my side on that part. But the more important part is, I agree with what Zafar Bhai said and what I think Sanjay mentioned earlier. What you're witnessing is a very brazen play of identity politics. I think basically what we need to recognize is that over the last 10 years, what have we seen, right? There's a continuous reminder to the people from different communities. We're going to let you know through various, fiats or through policy decisions. We want to remind you that you should be aware of your religion at all times. So the majority community to which I belong to is being repeatedly told, through actions of this kind, that be aware of the neighborhood, be aware of what you buy or what you sell or where you do your transactions. Similarly, the minority community in this country is being told through actions of this kind that, end of day, you are going to be vulnerable to a larger ecosystem that will decide in terms of your livelihood and your future. This is deeply unfortunate. I wish and I do hope the Supreme Court will put a permanent embargo on this kind of.
Let me for a moment try and argue it from the opposite side, because otherwise Ujjwal will say that we have put 4 people or 5 people against him. But Ujjwal, I must also say to you that Zafar Bhai, Rahul, Easwar have been supporters of the Prime Minister, and they are saying this as not critics of the government, but supporters of the Prime Minister at the very least. Sanjay, I want to ask you, just for a moment, arguing from the other side. One, as you heard Ujjwal say, it's in the rules. There are rules. Everyone shows their IDs, even in Amarnath, where the yatra is basically sustained by Muslim cooks, Muslim poniwalas. Everybody has an ID. They're Muslim. So naam dikhane mein kya? What is the issue? What would you actually say to that? What is the issue?
Barkha, he used an analogy of a daily newspaper where the owner's and the editor's name is given on the last page at the bottom of the page. I want to ask him, do his friends, his family, or anybody he knows, do they consume the headline, or do they first start by looking at who's the editor, etc.? I can tell you, if you were to do a random survey, even amongst educated, affluent people in metropolitan cities of India, they will not know who the editors and owners are, barring those who are really political junkies. So that's a very poor, if not an altogether preposterous argument. The second point is, let me ask Mr. Ujjwal that does he ever have a Coke? Does he ever even eat? I don't know whether he's a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian. Does he eat in a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Kentucky Fried Chicken? Does he know who are the owners of these brands in the US, or who are the franchise owners in India? Do the employees' names matter? I think, let's be honest, Barkha, I think it's about we are all adults on your show. We are not born yesterday. We're not green in our ears. This is a very blatant game of polarization, using every tool in their hands.
Let Ujjwal briefly respond, because he seems to find himself in a minority in this conversation. But I'll take one comment before I come to Ujjwal and Rahul. Muslim pilgrims go to Umrah and Hajj and use bus, trains, and airlines operated by our Hindu brothers. There also food is served. We don't ask them to show their names. This is a comment in the audience stream. Ujjwal, because I know at some point halal will come up. I'm sure namaz will come up. I'm sure all of this will come up. So I'm going to let you make your own arguments, and I'm sure the panel can respond to it. Do go ahead.
Barkha, the real problem is the fraud which is happening. So you put up a Ma Vaishno Devi dhaba. Now please tell me. I mean, Shakespeare said what's there in the name, right? But it does matter sometimes. So looking at that Ma Vaishno Devi dhaba, what would I think? What would I presume? Let's go by simple logic that it's owned by a Hindu guy, probably, and probably pure vegetarian food is served. Can I assume that?
Sir, there is a Khan Chacha in Delhi that is owned by a Hindu. फर्क क्या पड़ता है? क्या फर्क पड़ता है? क्या फर्क पड़ता है? मुझे प्लीज जरा समझाइए. मुझे बताइए. Are we saying? I have a question. Are we saying that we should base our food choices basis the religion of the cook, of the shopkeeper? I have eaten at Khan Chacha for about 30 years. I discovered recently it's owned by a Hindu. How does it matter? Does it matter? Why does it matter? Does it matter that the mango? Does it matter that the mango seller's name is Arif and not Amit? Does it matter? Does it matter to anybody?
Barkha, please let me complete. Barkha, that's a personal choice, and you are all free to do that. We live in a democracy. But why is this sort of naming that name Ma Vaishno Devi Dhaba? At least I know. And when I eat in a McDonald's or a Burger But, I know that I'm going to non-veg restaurant.
Zafar bhai, okay, everybody's wanted to come in on what you said. I'll allow Zafar bhai. Okay. Zafar bhai has one sentence. Zafar bhai has one sentence. Zafar bhai.
Ujjwal, Al-Kabir is an Islamic name. And Al-Kabir is selling tons of beef and chicken every day. And it is owned by Mr. Sabarwal. So what answer you have?
There's a big difference between
Al-Rahman. Al-Rahman means Allah. It is owned by Mr. Gupta. He's selling beef. Are we going to go to the religious identity?
Sir, can I say something?
No, what you are saying,
Yes.
I'm questioning.
Sir, there's a big difference between a B2B company and a B2C company. B2B company, there are not masses of lakhs and crores of consumers which buy from Mr. Gupta or Sagrawal by the name of
Let's Acha ek minute.
I'm not done.
In shops. They are selling in shops.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, Rahul has been waiting. Ujjwal.
आप जो चीज बेच रहे हैं, तो the same religious community wants a halala or a halal, right? On the food packet. To distinguish between what kind of meat is that?
We will get to the lawyer on your analogy with halal.
The difference wouldn't agree on the rules of the law.
But halal is also sold. अरे उज्जवल जी 1 मिनट राहुल को तो बोलने दे. हाँ. अच्छा बोलिए.
Recently, the Muslim Personal Law Board made a statement that we do not believe in Supreme Court's order. So they should also not agree to this order, right? On the cases of triple talaq.
Okay, everybody hold on. I have to allow Rahul Easwar.
In the law of the land.
Okay,
Muslims do not believe in.
Ujjwal, what do you mean Muslims do not believe in
let me answer that.
One minute. No, everybody keep quiet. Everybody keep quiet for 30 seconds. 30 seconds only. Muslim Personal Law Board is not Muslims of India. There are 200 million Muslims in India, and the Muslim Personal Law Board does not speak for 220 million Muslims. I think Zafar bhai is agreeing with me, but Rahul Easwar बहुत देर से इंतजार कर रहे हैं. सब रुक जाइए. Rahul Easwar, please.
Barkha ji, there was a 4-1 verdict against Sabarimala, and I was the person who started the fight against it. I was arrested 5 times. So, don't believe in the law of the land?
And I didn't agree with you on that. And you called me, you called me a fundamentalist feminist.
So, it was a 4-1 verdict, and we Hindus of Kerala proudly and happily protested it, and thankfully Pujaniya Sarsang Chalak Mohan Bhagwat ji, then Sri Narendra Modi ji, Sri Rahul Gandhi all accepted. Do we mean that Narendra Modi ji, Sri Rahul Gandhi and Mohan Bhagwat ji don't believe in the law of the land? That is not at all the issue. See, I'm a student of philosophy. We are simply creating a logic just to counter it. I'll tell you the real issue is different. The real issue is we Hindu community. See, I'm a proud Brahmin. I always wear my religion on the sleeve. But I'm extremely happy today that Supreme Court has rightfully taken a decision that is great for this nation. This is what we really want. And trust me, 99% of BJP RSS people, I know them personally, they don't believe, in this particular position. They may not air it openly, but they know deep inside their heart of hearts that this is an absolutely wrong decision. Everyone knows this. But, when we go to a representation, we have to argue that side. That's the only thing. There is a deeper reason. The deeper reason is the thing people like Barkhaji will never address and will never appreciate too. The deeper reason is we Hindu community, unlike Christian and Muslim community, doesn't have a Sunday morning or a Friday prayer to unite and all us. So we always need a sense of other. We need love jihad, land jihad, halal jihad, all these kind of things, so that there can be an enemy on the other side to unite us. We want Kerala stories where 3 Kerala places into 32,000. So we want a perpetual enemy on the other side, so that there is a fear of we being united. This is the core of the thing.
You are saying that because Hinduism is not codified in the way of the sort of
Kind of.
in the way of
It's a
in the
more
way of the
nuanced answer.
Abraham. Let me ask a
No,
question. In the way of the,
no,
let me just ask the question. In the way of the Abrahamic religions, which is Islam, Judaism, Christianity, because there's no code, you believe that this attempt to create a Hindu identity goes overboard, and that's what you're seeing here. Am I summarizing?
no, a more nuanced question. See, Gandhiji was basically a Hindu activist. Shashi Tharoor writes this explicitly. Gandhiji was a Hindu activist who defeated the British Empire. Gandhiji wanted to do it positively with Hindu-Muslim unity and Hindu-Muslim. He balanced it. With one hand, he was a Hindu activist who emotionally blackmailed Ambedkarji to signing to Pune Pact. On the other hand, he worked for Hindu-Muslim unity, and this is the balance. Even RSS believes in it. That's the reason why they have a Muslim Rashtriya Manch. People like Sudarshan ji went out of the way, or Sri Mohan Bhagwat ji went out of the way to connect to Muslim community and all. And even just one more line. And even inside BJP RSS architecture, there are huge percentage of people who don't agree with Yogi ji, but they can't tell it out openly. That's the blunt reality, and that's the symptom that we have seen in court, that even a CM left unrepresented.
Let's go to both the legal and the political questions. First, Sanjay, and then Sanjay. Sanjay, we have a member, Mojo member, a regular audience member who says, Barkha, the FSSAI license being displayed is a must today. Does the Supreme Court order eliminate that requirement? As a food entrepreneur, I'm curious. This speaks a little bit to Ujjwal's point that if there is a law that requires you to display your identity, of course, the timing is suspicious. Of course, in politics, everything is political. Of course, why just for the Kanwar Yatra? The Establishment Act is very old, Shops and Establishment Act. But the question is legitimate. You know, what is the legal position here? I'm not very sure. The Supreme Court also in its observations did say that the Kanwars have a right to know which are vegetarian outlets and which are non-vegetarian, because that is okay and it doesn't infringe on any right to equality.
Yes, Barkha. Just to say, in a lighter vein, I'd gone in 2016 to Ahmedabad to deliver a lecture, and then I wanted to have Chinese food. And I found a Chinese restaurant, and I was really horrified to actually find that the restaurant was vegetarian. So to make the point that I'm making is
I thought you were going to say you wanted to have a drink and you couldn't have one. But
no, that
but after Chinese food, but
that you know the Gujaratis, poor things, have to go to the Dadra Nagar Haveli all the way for that. But anyway, now coming to the point, you know, dealing with this example of Ma Vaishno Devi Dhaba and all. Now, at the end of the day, what do you want to know? You want to know whether you're getting pure vegetarian food. There is no problem in directing that. Please make it very clear that this is a vegetarian restaurant, or that this is a non-vegetarian restaurant, or that you serve beef or you serve pork. That is absolutely fine. Even this whole license, the concept of legal regulation is with regard to food safety and food adulteration. But to bring in and to prominently highlight the name of the person, you know, and to say that, and where does this stop? Tomorrow you will say you also highlight the caste of the person. You know, it is not only the Muslims who are being targeted here. There are people, we know that caste disabilities are running rampant still now after so many years of affirmative action. So therefore, you know, that is why you have even parties like the LJP supporting this NDA government have vocally come out and opposed this, because there are caste ramifications to this. So therefore, you know, you know, let's not kid ourselves. At the end of the day, what is the food safety regulation that you are doing? What is the adulteration that you are stopping? And at the end of the day, you're talking about a Reri Patli wala who has some apples or some mangoes and some kela to sell, and you're trying to take advantage of the Newspaper Regulation Act and the Food Safety Act and say that is why we are doing it. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We know exactly the real chilling effect of this. We also know why in the political context this is playing out. And it is really, really sad that at the end of the day, when politics is being played out, it is the real poor. It's the real poor who are being paid. And in fact, this is anti-Hindu. And those who are doing this in the name of Hindu, let me say, and I have no hesitation in saying that, I'm a very proud Hindu. I believe the Hinduism is the best faith in the world. And I don't want a vinculum juris, a line which is equating me to any other faith. and to say, oh, halal karte hai. Now let's understand, halal again goes to the nature of the food. You again, I have no problem if you have some kind of description of the nature of the food. Our religion, let us understand that Modi ji in his vision, in his dynamic vision, has given Vasudhaiva Kutumbam as the motto of G20. Are we going to just restrict it only to G20 mottos?
Okay.
Not come to the life of the people.
Let's before. Okay, Sanjay Jha and then Ujjwal. Sanjay Jha, please do go ahead. Sorry, I got mixed up between my Sanjoys and my Sanjays. Sanjay, do go ahead.
Well, I do tend to agree with what Sanjay mentioned before me. And just one example, Barkha, I think it's important to share it with your viewers. I remember on 26/11 when we were attacked here in Mumbai, there was a conversation at that point of time that I would like to just kind of bring up again. Did anybody ask for the religion or the state or the caste of the NSG commandos who came to save the lives of innocent people? And there were people from all over the country belonging to different regions and different religions. I mean, it's basic, elementary humanity. My only point here, Barkha, is this: that what we are witnessing today is a distressing and an extremely depressing attempt by a very powerful political party and its extremely formidable members who are hell-bent on trying to polarize us. And I'll tell you, ultimately, ordinary people of India become vulnerable to this kind of sectarian politics. And here is the truth, right? What is the truth, Barkha? That end of day, I do believe that there is a nervousness within the BJP, which has occurred after the general elections, the results in Ayodhya, for example, or even the assembly election of Badrinath, that they should know that at core, you cannot really destroy the secular, what I call is the syncretic character of a great country. Now, there has been an attempt over the last 10 years to try and slowly, almost surreptitiously, try and dismember it through episodes and events and hate speeches. But truth be said, Barkha, I think, as I think every panelist, including Rahul, Easwar, I'm glad he said what he said. I think the bottom line is we deserve better than this. And I do believe that it's an ordinary Muslim, or it's the ordinary Hindu, or it's the ordinary person. It's also a class politics here. You see, everyone will invite a Shah Rukh Khan and a Salman Khan for a photo op. But the poor Muslim who is at the bottom of the pyramid gets a raw deal. Not fair.
I think, Ujjwal, we're trying to pull up the picture of Arif, the mango seller. I think it was a pretty viral picture on social media. अब आरिफ द मैंगो सेलर वो कहाँ से FSSAI का सर्टिफिकेट लाएंगे? You're not talking about a very organized sector. Let's first understand, we are not talking about a very organized sector. We are talking about street side food. We are talking about people struggling to earn do paisa. We are talking about people where the owner may be of one religion and the employees may be of a different religion. And lastly, why should the name be relevant? The name may be revealed in whatever ID card on some food officials or some inspector who comes to inspect. Why does the customer need to know the name? Why does the customer need to know the name of the seller? मुझे बस इतना बता दीजिए.
Barkha, the only reason is impersonating. Why are they impersonating as Hindus when they're Muslims? Look at what, and thanks to Sanjay.
And the Muslims who are, and the Hindus. Can I just show you Arif mango seller for one moment? One moment. I want to show you. ये बैनर हटाइए प्लीज. बैनर हटाइए. ये देखिए आप. इस रेडी वाले को मोहम्मद रिजवान, इन रेडी वालों को आपको फर्क पड़ता है कि ये इनका नाम रिजवान है कि रोहित है?
I'll tell you why.
मतलब मुझे तो मेरा दिल टूटता है कि ये रिजवान है या रोहित है. ये दो वक्त की कमाई करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. They are not begging on the streets. They're not breaking any rules. They're trying to earn an honest living. Whether their name is Rohit or Rizwan, why do we care?
Barkha, am I allowed to speak for a minute, please?
Please.
Interruption.
Please.
I was just thanking Sanjay for bringing out the Bombay attacks. Why was Ajmal Kasab wearing a kalawa? Mauli Zaga क्यों पहना था उन्होंने? Because they wanted to represent that a Hindu has done this. RSS has done this probably. B, will spitting come under adulteration? and food safety measures? Do we have a right to know? We have seen many videos. Why don't you show the videos of the Muslim chef spitting on paratha?
I find this spitting. I'm going to let Zafar Sareshwala respond to
No,
this because
Barkha, you need to allow me to speak, please.
Sir,
Why
sir,
are we
what
not
is
showing the videos of
Sir,
Muslims
what is the
spitting?
evidence? Sir, what is the evidence of this? इसका क्या evidence है?
I
मुझे
can
please
contact
जरा आप
you
बताइए.
the videos
ये
right
नहीं
today while
अच्छा
we speak. Barkha, we have seen many videos of Muslim chefs spitting in parathas, tandoori, and samosas and fruits and everything. That is
So
why
are
we all
you saying?
have to know the owner.
Are you saying?
Because
अच्छा
we have
Ujjwal
the
ji,
problem with that.
can I ask you? Can I ask you something?
Can I
If Zafar
complete?
Saresh,
Can I make my point?
एक छोटा सा सवाल. If Zafar bhai calls you for dinner, will you not go because you think that उनके घर में जो खाना पकाते हैं वो अपने खाने में थूकते हैं? Do you really believe this?
At least I know
I can't
that
hear.
Zafar is calling me and not a Sanjay. That is my right to know and my right to decide whether I want to go to him or not. That is my personal choice. But at least I know that Zafar is calling me.
Okay.
And not a
Okay.
Sanjay.
There are a lot of reactions to this. Zafar Sareshwala, Rahul Easwar, and Sanjay Jha in that order. Zafar Sareshwala, मुझसे बहुत लोग ये पूछते हैं ये थूकने का. ये कोविड के टाइम भी this fake news was spread about spitting, if you remember, right? Now this perception that there is some spitting element when Muslims prepare food, हम सर पकड़ सकते हैं, हम सर ऐसे कर सकते हैं, ये बार-बार ये सवाल उठाया जाता है. आप प्लीज इस पे आप कुछ कहना चाहें?
बिल्कुल नहीं. देखिए, ये मैं भी बहुत सुनता हूँ और जो वीडियो दिखाते हैं बाद में उसकी दूसरी काउंटर वीडियो निकलती है. ऐसा नहीं है. ऐसा होता तो मुसलमानों की रेस्टोरेंट में आता कौन है भाई? मुसलमान की रेस्टोरेंट में हिंदू आता है. मुसलमान का दुकान, मुसलमान की खाने पीने की जो दुकान चलती है ना और रेस्टोरेंट चलती है वो हिंदू की वजह से चलती है. तो क्या वो हिंदू इतना बेवकूफ है? मैं उज्जवल साहब से पूछना चाहता हूँ, वो इतना बेवकूफ है कि आप लोग ये कब से कह रहे हो वो थूकता है, स्पिटिंग करता है, ये करता है, लेकिन उसकी तो दुकान चलती है, उसकी रेस्टोरेंट में जगह नहीं मिलती. अभी जाइए बंबई में, ओलंपिया में, शालीमार में, आप दिल्ली दरबार में लाइन लगती है और कौन 100 में मुसलमान तो 10 भी नहीं होते, 90 हिंदू हैं. तो आप उनको बताइए. और ये ऐसा चलता है. खान मार्केट में जो खान वो जो है उनका नाम
चाचा.
कोई ये नहीं देखता इस मुल्क में कि ये हिंदू की दुकान है कि मुसलमान की दुकान है. वो ये देखता है कि इस दुकान में क्या मिलता है. क्या इस रेस्टोरेंट में 100% वेजिटेरियन है या नहीं है? मुसलमान ये देखता है कि ये नॉन वेज की रेस्टोरेंट हिंदू की मुसलमान की नहीं है. इस रेस्टोरेंट में पोर्क नहीं है. बस वो ये नहीं देखता कि हिंदू बेचता है कि मुसलमान बेचता है. और मेरा प्रॉब्लम उज्जवल साहब को कहूंगा कि यार कम से कम मोदी साहब से सीखो. ये सेकंड थर्ड लेवल के जो बीजेपी वाले हैं ना, इनका प्रॉब्लम ये है कि इनको अपने लीडर को ही नहीं मालूम कि इनका लीडर क्या सोचता है. तो मैं इनको कहूंगा कि कम से कम मोदी साहब की सोच पे जाओ. अगर मोदी साहब की सोच सही है या गलत है तो आज आपने देख लिया सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कोई नहीं पहुंचा था उनको बचाने के लिए. तो मैं कहूंगा कि भाई हर चीज को मजहब से मत तोलो, आगे निकलो.
Okay. Lots of hands up, but Zafar Sareshwala says this narrative that Muslims spit in their food is an absolute fiction. I wanted him to say it because if I say it, my locus standi will be questioned. Rahul Easwar, that Sanjay Jha. Yes.
Just one quick interjection. As you know, I am a huge Modi fan and an ardent follower of Modi ji. Modi ji exactly 3 months back said during his childhood, food used to come to him from Muslim homes. During Eid, they used to prepare special food. Do we mean to say that Modi ji used to eat food which was spit? He went to Palestine, won the highest award. He went to UAE, calls the sheikh his brother. We mean to say that he always gets food which has spit? See, the point is that's the reason why Barkha ji, we are harping on the wrong paradigm. The paradigm is different. Yes. The entire thing is created because we want a sense of other. And people like you are also partially responsible. Whenever a normal Hindu like me, I know raises a Hindu point, you always say we should have secularism. See, we need to have pluralism, not the religion negating secularism. We need to be alert.
I completely agree, although I am personally not a religious person. But I completely agree, and I'll tell you the example of this is the Indian Army. मैं बहुत बारी ये कह चुकी हूँ कि Indian Army में सर्वधर्म स्थल, multi-faith worship. The commanding officer of a regiment will be Hindu but can lead the namaz. The commanding officer of a regiment of a unit can be Muslim but can perform the aarti. I have personally seen this happen. This is not tolerating each other's faith. This is participation and celebration of each other's faith. And that is the pluralism that I believe in and I believe my country represents. Sanjay Jha, please go ahead. Sanjay Jha.
Yeah.
I can't hear Sanjay Jha. Yeah. Yes, now I can.
But Barkha, I need to say this may not be relevant, but I do want to tell you that I don't think you need to explain yourself. I think you have been one amongst the most dispassionate and bold anchors that I have known, and I need to be very public about that. Number two, I want to tell my friend Ujjwal ji, and I think it's important to call the BJP out. Barkha, during the time of the pandemic, when the world was dying and nobody knew whether they would be living for a tomorrow, we had Corona Jihad being trending on Twitter. So, I think it's about time we cut out these pretensions about where the BJP really comes from. And I would like to also regretfully disagree with my friend Zafar Bhai on this one point of Mr. Modi. If during the 2024 elections, I think Mr. Modi's mask is off when it comes to standing up for what I would call as a secular India. आपका भैंस कौन चोरी कर लेगा, आपका मंगलसूत्र कौन उठा के ले जाएगा, आपका जमीन कौन छीन लेगा. I think, to be frank, Ujjwal is doing today what he's actually taken away from his supreme leader. So I do believe that somewhere down the line, it's about time we stop being naive about it. The BJP and the RSS are not going to change their spots. That is their ideological, existential, shall we say, foundation, which is that you got to target a certain community in India who they believe is responsible for the Akhand Bharat, abstraction not becoming a reality today.
So a lot of people want to react. A lot of people want to react to what you're saying. Let's take last comments. Ujjwal ji, I hope we've buried this spitting fake news, which Zafar Sareshwala says it's fake news. Rahul Easwar says the Prime Minister has spoken about getting food from his Muslim neighbors. So we have to assume ये झूठा है. ये थूक की कहानियां इनको अब दफना दिया जाए. पर अब last comments. Ujjwal ji, please.
Barkha, I've always maintained in this debate that the problem is about impersonation somebody else. If you are somebody, please tell us who you are. If it's the army captain, he wouldn't change his name, right? He wouldn't have a Hindu name just because he's the head of his unit. Same with the chefs, same with the hotel owners, same with everybody. Why are you having a fake ID with yourself? Why was Ajmal Kasab wearing a kalaba when he was a Muslim? Does he believe in Hindu ideology? No. What would happen?
So this impersonation, can I ask you a question? This impersonation, as you call it, you will ask for Hindu owners of Islamic sounding companies to also change their companies' names or disclose their own, right?
Especially when they're into B2C business. If they're into B2B business, their sole choice.
Can I ask you another question which you haven't answered? The relevance. If I am a yatri, is it relevant to me what the caste or the religion is of the person who is feeding me dinner that night? Is it relevant?
It should be my choice. I would like to know where am I eating? Should that choice be deprived from me? And why this fuss? Why are you being somebody else when you are somebody else?
Because we don't live in ghettos, our markets are not organized by either religion or caste. That's why our markets, our commercial spaces are not organized by either religion or caste. And if we start making this a relevant factor in the establishments that are patronized commercially, then we are encouraging economic and social and religious ghettoization.
जाति जनगणना से क्या होगा बरखा? क्या वो ghettoism हो जाएगा? क्या secular skin को चोट लग जाएगी भारत के? जाति जनगणना is good, but this is bad. No,
I don't agree with jati. I don't agree with jati. I don't agree with jati.
Please stop being hypocrites. Let's take a stand. If this is bad, jati janganagana is also bad.
Okay, Zafar Sareshwala.
No.
Okay. I actually believe that the BJP, and I said this even while I was traveling Ujjwal during elections, the BJP is now in danger of alienating some of its own supporters, like Zafar Sareshwala, like Rahul Easwar, like Mayank, who writes here, although I'm a Oh, I was trying to take that, please. Can I please take that? Although I'm a BJP supporter, what they're doing here is shameful. This is totally discriminatory and senseless. The government's job is to ensure food quality, no matter who is selling the food. Do you agree that the emphasis should be saaf safai kitni hai? If you're so bothered about the thook, let's think about the water supply. Let's think about the hygiene. Both Hindus and Muslims can be as clean or as dirty. It has nothing to do with religion, right? We agree or we don't agree, Ujjwal ji?
Totally. And why not? And why not?
Okay.
I would again say, was this rule only for Muslims or for everybody else?
Let Zafar Sareshwala take that.
No,
Bhai, Zafar Sareshwala, problem kya hai? If the rule is for everybody, problem kya hai? Zafar Sareshwala.
See, Barkha, Supreme Court has given the answer clearly in one line. They have said, yes, it is about vegetarianism, and I also respect that. That if somebody comes to a restaurant and he wants, yes, I have no business if I'm saying it is a vegetarian restaurant, then there should not be a trace of meat also in that. There should not be a trace of animal fat in my entire area. That's what that's all about. Supreme Court has said it is about vegetarianism. Putting tag of religion of that owner is against the principle of secularism. So I think that is it. And I want to make one important point. Barkha Muslim Personal Law Board does not represent 200 plus million Muslims of the country. They are a small segment. Muslims are very large. Muslims are plus 200 million Muslims. So don't bring Muslim Personal Law Board what they are saying or what they are
I have to start closing. Rahul and then Sanjay gets the last word. Yeah, I'm coming to you. Rahul Easwar ji, please.
Abraham Maslow, the famous psychologist, says everyone needs to have a sense of belonging. We Hindus don't have sense of belonging, so we are looking for a sense of other. And Muslims are just accidental victims. We just want to see somebody is on the other side. In Kerala, the same thing happened. The Dhuk jihad, the pin drop jihad. These things will keep on happening until and unless we solve that spiritual crisis which is inside us. We will always look upon the enemy on the other side, and unfortunately, Muslim will end up as the victims.
Sanjay, what is the legal question that the Supreme Court will have to address when the state governments do respond on Friday? And last word to you.
Well, the legal question is exactly what Ujjwal is saying. Ujjwal says, I have a right to know whether my food provider is a Hindu or a Muslim. Now, the legal question is that a constitutional right? Obviously, also, is it the right of a state to regulate and force people to say, I'm a Hindu or a Muslim? We are a free country. If there is someone who is not satisfied with the answer that is the food is vegetarian, pure vegetarian, and still wants to know the religion of the owner, he has a right to ask him privately, and that other person, the owner, has a right, a discretion to answer or not answer. Upon that reaction, answering or not not answering, then
what about identity? He might ask you, what about identity? He's registered somewhere, right? A business is registered somewhere.
No, Barkha, I'm making a much more important point. And the point is this.
Right.
That you have a right to ask the hotel owner, are you a Hindu or you're a Muslim? If he does not answer, don't eat at this restaurant. But will the state in a secular country facilitate this process and force everyone to declare you're a Hindu or a Muslim? I want to end on a note of hope, if you will permit me. If you see this, painting behind me of Radha and Krishna, this is made by the Potuas of Bengal, and they are all in South Bengal, and they are all Muslims. They make these beautiful chitras of Durga, Lakshmi, Radha, Krishna, and they sing songs of these people also. So we are a country, and if you will permit me, I'm saying in Bengali, we are a country of Tagore. And where he says, Esho he arjo, esho anarjo, Hindu Musulman, esho esho aaj, tumi Ingraj, esho esho Christian, matri ঘট হয়নি যে ভরা, সবার পরশে পবিত্র করা তীর্থ নিরে, এই ভারতের মহামানবের সাগর তীরে. With the sparsh of everyone, the kalash of Mother India becomes purified. So this is the idea of India. Please don't destroy my India, Ujjwal.
I think we will have to leave it there. That idea of Muslims as flower sellers, murti makers, bindi makers, the ones who feed the pilgrims of Amarnath, and vice versa. That should be what we should celebrate. We'll leave it there. Ujjwal, on this program at least, we'll have to agree to disagree. To Ujjwal ji, to Zafar ji, to Rahul ji, to Sanjay ji, and to Sanjay ji, thank you. And to our audience, thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.